as he was like talking to us, it was like slowly coming out of the wall on its own. Nobody was touching it. Good whatever time it is, wherever you are. Today I'm going to tell a paranormal story time, and it's kind of my only paranormal story that I have. So, maybe a month or so ago, maybe two, me and one of my best friends, Lizzie, decided to go on a overnight trip to Eureka Springs. And Eureka Springs, Arkansas is very unique. It was incorporated in 1880, and the reason it's called Eureka Springs is because the guy that founded it, or that is claimed to have found it, named it that because he just exclaimed Eureka, and Eureka means I found it. So it's I found it springs. It's just up in the mountains, lots of springs. Most of the buildings there are all Victorian style, and several of the structures are built out of the local limestone. And the streets are made of limestone. It's just the walls, everything, and it's just really cool. Everything's like, the roads are super unique. Like they're leveled, like, because it's all built on like in the side of a mountain, so it's real cool. And it originated as a town, like a kind of a resort town where you could go, and the springs were said to like have healing powers, and you could go for wellness and health, and lots of sick people went there. There was a hospital, and they would go and try to get better. Now it's more of a eccentric, artsy kind of town, and there's lots of haunted places there. There's actually a huge hotel there called the Crescent. I do kind of have a story from there with some footage if I can find it. I mean, I was like in middle school, so if I can find that footage, I'll tell that story. It's not that exciting though. But yeah, it's this huge hotel that used to be a hospital. It used to be all these kinds of things. Now it's a spa and a hotel, and it's got lots of really haunted lore. You can look it up. I'll leave the link to their website in the description. But yeah, so we decided to go on an overnight trip to Eureka Springs, and we didn't really know what we wanted to do, but we knew we wanted to take like a ghost tour, because that's one of our favorite things. We're really into haunted stuff, ghost stuff. We love any kind of like ghost hunting shows, and when we lived in Orlando, we took the ghost tour there, and it was so much fun. I recommend if you have a ghost tour locally or somewhere nearby that you take it, because it's just so fun, even just to learn the history of the town that you're in, because you'll learn a lot, and it's just fun whether you believe it or not. We pay and we go on this ghost tour, and it's just like anything else. They take you around on a bus in this one because there's lots of hills. And the first thing that happened is we went to this little spring, and most of the springs are underground. So there's like this little cave just in the middle of the city. Like anyone can go there. It's public. It's just, there's a few steps down, there's this little cave, and there's a natural spring in there. So we go down in there, and they give us these little charm things on beads, and so we can talk to the ghosts and do a little ghost hunting stuff ourselves. And we're standing there doing that, and there's this candle. That's what unique about this particular little cave, is that there's this candle there, and it's kind of in this concrete, or it's probably limestone frame, or I don't know what you would call it, just kind of casing. And apparently the thing on this candle is no one knows why it's there or how it got there, but it's always lit, always burning. It's like an eternal flame, but nobody knows who lights it or who maintains it or anything like that, but it's just always lit. Like even when they had a lot of flooding there one time, the tour guide said that the waters came up over the top, totally filled the cave and like over the top of the candle, but as soon as the water came back down enough for the candle to show, the flame was lit. Like the rest of the cave was still flooded, but the candle was lit. So for someone to light that, they would have had to go into the cave and light the candle. Like, that's crazy to me, because why would anyone wade in flood water? Like, the rest of the town's like having mudslides and everything like this, and they're going out to light a candle in a cave. Like, that's crazy. So that was super unique. And it was actually the first time they went in this cave on the tour. Well, he was just talking and telling us all about the candle and all about, that area. And there were some girls that had like an EMF thing. And if you don't know what that is, it's like this little box that lights up and tells you if there's like electromagnetic fields in the area, and sometimes they say that's a ghost. It could just be electricity, but we were underground in a cave. There wasn't electricity. So they're over by the candle, and he's telling about it, and all of a sudden the girl goes, "Oh my gosh, the candle just went out." And we were all like, "Are you kidding?" And the tour guide was even like, "What? Like the candle? What? Are you kidding? The candle went out?" And she was like, "No, like I was standing here with the EMF detector and it just like fizzled out." And he was like, "I've lived here for my whole life and I've never seen that candle go out." And so we were all instantly like freaked out. Like, okay, these people have never seen this candle go out. Like, and so part of me, since it was the first time they'd ever gone there on the tour, I thought, okay, this could be fake. Like, someone could have blown it out. But there were other people from the tour standing over there by the girls, by the candle. Like, there were multiple people that saw this happen on the tour. And so me and Lizzie were instantly like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. So that was the first crazy thing that happened. And then we went on the rest of the tour. Everything was great. We went back to their office or their headquarters, and there's this tunnel that runs under all the buildings, and their headquarters was like in the basement of a building, and there's this tunnel that runs under the sidewalk all the way downtown, and it said that there was this guy that ran this hospital and this whole big scam where he would kill bodies and then try to get the insurance money from them. And so when he would kill them, he would just like send them down the tunnel so people wouldn't know. Like, he wouldn't be parading bodies down the street to the morgue. He would just send them from the hospital up the street down through the tunnel to the morgue, and they, him and the like mortician had a deal. The dude would just like cremate them and then he'd collect the insurance money or whatever. And so it was super crazy. But they have a room with a window that you can see into that old tunnel. So we were standing in there, and he was doing a couple of other like ghost things, and he had this like little bell, and he was just holding it, and like every now and then we would hear it like tink, like someone took a little spoon and just went tink to it. So that was kind of weird because it was like a clear tink, but obviously nobody was touching it. I mean, he was just like holding it like this, and like there's no way he could have like tapped it with his fingernail or anything. So that was really weird. So we were standing there, and partly one of the weird things was there was this little hole, like cubby, where you could take out this piece of wood and crawl into the tunnel if you needed to. So there's just this little square wood door just like kind of pushed into the hole. Well, as he was like talking to us, it was like slowly coming out of the wall. So there's just this little square wood door just like kind of pushed into the hole. Well, as he was like talking to us, it was like slowly coming out of the wall on its own. Nobody was touching it. And they even had like put this like pipe, like there's this PVC pipe like barrier built around it, because they said this has happened so many times where it just has like flown out with force and hit people. And so like while we were standing there and he was talking, it was just like slowly inching out of the wall on its own, and then it just like fell on the ground. Like, nobody was touching it. Nobody could even get around it because of the, like, PVC pipe. And it just fell. Like, are you kidding me? That was probably the scariest part. And since I've never taken the tour before, I don't know how that happens every time there's a tour, or if that really was just something that happened that night. I mean, they said of all the times they've given the tour, it's only happened like maybe 4 times. So I don't know. I would like to take the tour again to see if it really happened, but I don't know. But the weirdest part, so back to the candle. So it was like midnight or so when we finished the tour, and we decided we'd go drive back up to where the cave with the candle was to see if it was lit again, since we hadn't been there in about 30 minutes. So we drive up there, and it's super dark. Like, where this cave is a super dark part of town. Like, there's no other buildings around, and it's just, there's kind of like this little park built around it, but like it's just a cave in the middle of the mountain. So we drive up there, but it's way too dark, and we're like freaked out from what had happened with the door and the tunnel that we didn't really want to get out of the car. So we just kind of drove by, but it was so dark. Like, we have no idea if the candle was lit. It didn't look lit, but it was so dark that there's no way we could have seen from the road. So the next morning we decided to go by there on our way out of town. We were going to go have breakfast, and then we decided we'd stop by the cave one more time just to see if it got lit again. And when we got there, since it was daytime, we decided we'd park and get out. And we were walking up to the steps, and there were like these flowers on the railing, and someone had placed flowers all the way down the steps. And then up by the candle, there was like a bouquet of flowers and all these floral things. Like it was like an arrangement around the candle. And the candle was lit, okay? So it was like someone came back and did a ceremony to like a relighting ceremony of the candle. So it was like someone knew that it got unlit, or someone checked it and did this ceremony before. Like, okay, we drove back by it at midnight and didn't see any of this stuff. And then by 10 a.m. the next morning, all this had been done. Like, I don't know, it's the craziest thing. My friend Lizzie actually took some Snapchat footage of us going back the next morning, and I'll put that right here. I don't know. It was super freaky. It felt like, it's one thing to like see something and know it's fake and just be like, oh, okay, that's cool, whatever. But like the way it felt when we walked up and there were those flowers just felt so surreal. Like so real. It just felt, I don't know. It was just a feeling I can't even explain. It was just the coolest thing. But anyways, that's my paranormal story. It was a lot of fun. I actually would like to experience more things like this, so I'll probably take some more ghost tours soon. I probably will go back and take that tour, and then I'll let y'all know if the same things happen to me or not. Maybe I can talk Justin into going with me. I've been posting videos every Tuesday, and so far I've been doing a good job of it. So if you'd like to see any more of my videos, go to my channel, or, you know, leave a comment or a thumbs up if you like this and you like to see more videos like this. And thanks for stopping by. See you next Tuesday. And they even had like put this like pipe, like, I don't know what you would call it, that plastic pipe stuff that you like use for plumbing and PVC. Yeah, there was this PVC pipe like barrier built around it.